Hi, I'm Laura. Some of you know me as Laura in Kansas, Silly Dog, or Silly Dog Designs. I'm going to try to show you how to do a baby rolled hem. This is a technique I learned probably about 5 or 6 years ago, and I've enjoyed using it with my doll clothes. So first of all, I'll go through the equipment that I use. These are the two different throat plates that most machines either come with or have available to them. This is the most common one right here. As you can see, this hole right here is where the needle goes through, and it will accommodate a wide stitch for the needle to go through. This throat plate is a straight stitch throat plate, and the needle goes through this hole right here. You cannot use a wide stitch on this throat plate, but this is a throat plate we're going to use on the baby hem. I also try to use the smallest needle that I can find for the project. Normally I'll use a sharp, either a size 10 or a size 8. If it's a stretchy fabric, then you'll probably want to use a ballpoint needle. I also have a preference on my threads. I do use a Mettler brand. Typically most threads you'll use is a silk finished cotton. I like to use a 2-ply embroidery cotton thread. I know some of you will prefer a polyester thread, which is fine. The polyester threads are about the same size as a cotton thread. You'll want to use a sharp pair of scissors. Have your iron handy. Okay, these are the 3 types of fabric. As you can see, they're kind of fussy fabrics that I've made samples with. This is a polyester crinkle cut piece of fabric. It's pretty sheer, lightweight. This one is sheer again. It's a polyester. It's got little glitter dots glued on it, so it's kind of fussy to sew with. And here's a piece of fine netting. I have made hems. These are completed on this piece. And again, it does not deter the crinkleness of the fabric. Here's the netting. And I know a lot of you like to attach beads or do bead trim. This is a nice sturdy hem that you can attach the beads to. And I have used a white thread on top and a red thread on the bottom, so you can kind of see what I'm doing here. This is the top side of the sparkly sheer fabric. Again, it probably looks a little uneven here because of the 2 different colors of thread I'm using, but I think you'll get, with a little bit of practice, the results that you're looking for. I've started a couple of pieces of samples so that you can see what the steps are before I actually show you how I do these. You're going to need about 5/8 of an inch allowance for your hem. That's the way I was taught. Your first line or step will be a stitch 1/2 inch from the edge of the fabric, which we'll do right here. I'm using, again, white thread on the top, red thread on the bottom so that you can see it, and a piece of orange cotton fabric so you can tell the front and the back. I'm stitching this 1/2 inch from the hem edge. Leave your tail on the thread. The next step, you'll want to press up that 1/2 inch hem. I'm going to go out of the camera lens for a minute, press up my hem. Okay, now this is your hem pressed up right along the stitched line. Your second step will be to stitch a second stitching line right on top of your first stitching line, as close to the edge as you can get it. You'll be pulling on your thread tails to keep it just a little bit of tension on your fabric. And there's step 2 completed. Now this is stitched down. Step 3, you're going to very carefully with a sharp pair of scissors trim off that almost 1/2 inch as close to the stitching line as you can without clipping your threads, and being careful not to cut the outside of your project that you're working on. Okay, so you're going to have your 1/2 inch trimmed away as close to the stitching line as possible. I'm going to go outside of the camera range again, and I'm going to press this down as close to that stitching line as I can. This will aid in getting the final stitching done evenly. I do try to have all of my equipment at hand. I've got a nice little quilting board over here that has a pressing pad on one side and a rotary cutting mat on the other, so that I have those 2 pieces at hand. Okay, now I'm going to hold on to these tails and again stitching as close to the edge as you can. And this will be your final stitching line. Now with a little bit of practice and patience, this can be done on a curve, even around a corner. And there you have the what would be the inside of your garment, and this is the outside of your garment. And I think with some practice, you guys will probably, hopefully, be able to use this technique on your doll projects. Hope this helps. If you have any questions, just let me know.